for the first time since 2014, could we not see Clemson in the playoffs in 2021? Let's go. What's going on, everybody? It's me again, Golden Blue Dude, and if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. I do videos every single day. At this point in time, it seems like an absolutely absurd thought to think that Clemson could miss the playoffs, because they've made the playoffs 6 straight times since 2015. That streak is actually longer than Alabama's. Alabama missed the playoffs back in 2019. But if there was a year that Clemson could miss the playoffs, it would be this year. Now, we all know Trevor Lawrence is off to the NFL, but the quarterback position I'm not worried about. DJ Uiagalelei looked really good against Notre Dame. Not really worried about him. It's really the supporting cast of the offense. I even think the defense will be fine. They have 10 returning starters. They're going to be fine on defense. It's the offense that could cost them an appearance in the playoffs this year. The biggest concern for me is the run game. First off, the offensive line underperformed last year. They did not look good at all. Second of all, they did lose Travis Etienne. Now, they do have incoming 5-star recruit Will Shipley. He's going to be good. But I think the starter to start the season will be Lynn J. Dixon. The problem is he only averaged 4.25 yards a carry last year. That's not good. They have to have a better running game if they want any chance of getting into the playoffs. Now we switch over to the passing game. Like I said, at the quarterback position, not worried about that at all. It's the wide receivers. Amari Rodgers, gone. Yes, Justin Ross is back, but he's still recovering from that neck surgery, and he hasn't had full contact yet. So this spring game is going to be very important for him. All eyes are going to be on Justin Ross. To go along with him, they'll have Frank Latson Jr., Joe Ngata, and wide receiver Beau Collins. Out of all those, I think Beau Collins will probably be the best out of the group. He's going to have a great season for Clemson to have a chance to make it to the playoffs. On defense, really the only concern I have is the defensive line. Clemson had a lot of issues on the line of scrimmage on the offensive side and the defensive side, and that's where the game is usually won and lost. I mean, you look at last year when they lost to Notre Dame. Trevor Lawrence wasn't playing and the offense was okay. They were missing a couple of key players on defense, and a okay Notre Dame beat them. Now, once they got to the playoffs, Clemson played Ohio State full strength. What happened? They got mocked. So I definitely have some concerns for Clemson heading into the 2021 season. Let's look at their schedule real quick. First game, right off the bat, Georgia in Charlotte. Yes, Clemson should be on upset alert. I don't know who's going to be favored, but if Clemson's favored, they need to be on upset alert. I know George Pickens, he had an injury. Now Jermaine Burton has a sprain, but Georgia is loaded on offense, and their defense is going to be fine. Georgia is most definitely capable of beating Clemson in that first game, which, by the way, I'm going to be at that first game. So there's Clemson's first possible loss, and I think it's a big possibility. But let's move past that. After that, they have South Carolina State at home, no problem. Georgia Tech at home. Georgia Tech will be better, but still, no problem for Clemson. At N.C.State, could be tricky. First road game, N.C.State has played Clemson tough, but I don't think they're quite there yet. I think Clemson gets the job done there. Boston College at home. Do not look past Boston College. Look how far they took North Carolina last year, but it is in Clemson. I'll give it to Clemson. Then there's this 2-game road stretch, and it's against teams that have given Clemson fits. This is where Clemson could pick up their second loss. First up at Syracuse, and then at Pitt. They're not very good teams. They're not. But in the past, a not good Syracuse and a not good Pitt have beaten Clemson. You got to look out for that. Once we get past Florida State at home, shouldn't be a problem. At Louisville, I think Louisville will be the surprise team in the ACC. That could be a much closer game than people realize. After that, you have UConn at home, no problem. Wake Forest at home, no problem. At South Carolina, no problem. So even if they lose at Georgia and win out, they'd still have to go to the ACC Championship and play either North Carolina and Miami. Right now, I have North Carolina, but I am not underestimating Miami. I got to see how they do against Alabama first. But if Clemson loses to Georgia at the beginning of the season and then loses to North Carolina at the end of the season in the ACC Championship, Clemson will not make the playoffs. And it all comes down to the offense, especially that running game. So many questions. But that 5-star, Will Shipley, he looks really good. Maybe he can take over and have that running game humming. Clemson definitely needs that to make the playoffs this year. So if I had to put a percentage on the possibility of Clemson missing the playoffs, I would have to put it around the 35-40%. Not super great, but more than usual, guys. More than usual. We'll see how Clemson looks on offense and defense whenever that spring game comes around. That's all I got for you for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you on the next show.